Martin and Jerry Lewis, the money song. If you got it, you don't need it. If you need it, you don't got it. If you don't get it, shame on you. Ain't it funny what money can do? Ain't it funny, funny what money can do? Let me tell you. Ask the rich man, he'll confess. Money can never buy you happiness. Ask the poor man, he has no doubt. He'd rather be unhappy with money than without. Them that got it, get more of it. The less they need it, the more they love it. It seems to stick to them like glue. Ain't it funny what money can do? And I say money, 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 we love you. If you're lucky and you make it, you'll be scared to death of who's gonna try to take it. Like the eternal revenue. Ain't it funny what money can do? And I say money, 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 we love you. Ask the rich man, he'll confess. Money can never buy you happiness. Ask the poor man, he has no doubt. He'd rather be unhappy with money than without. If you don't need it badly, folks will give it gladly. But if you need it, to hell with you. Ain't it funny, funny what money can do? And one thing we gotta remember. Money, 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 we love you. Let me tell you. If you spend it, they say be wiser. And if you save it, you a stinking miser. And if you don't want it, let me tell you, you're cuckoo. Ain't it funny, funny, funny what money can do? Ain't it funny what money can do? Ask the rich man, he'll confess. Money can never buy you happiness. Ask the poor man, he has no doubt. He'd rather be unhappy with money than without. If you're lucky and you make it, you'll be scared to death of who's gonna try to take it. Like the eternal revenue. Ain't it funny what money can do? And remember one thing. Money, 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 we love you. Once again, Alligator in alignment. Alligator in alignment. That was actually Jerry Lewis and Dean Martin, the comedy duo. I ran across them while running around through YouTube the other day, and I heard that song. Of course, they had this rinky-dink music with it that they did doing the comedy thing. So I put some music to it and decided it's funny, but it's true. It is true. Right now, let me bring on my co-host, my son, Cowboy Dhani, and we're gonna get to it, whatever we decide to get to.
Hey, Pops. Always a pleasure.
My son, how you doing, bud?
Doing well. Doing
Okay.
well. Been a little warm out here in the Bay Area, but you know, we got through it. Hopefully the rest, most of it's behind us.
The heat thing is off the charts right now.
That's the truth. Now I remember you talked to an expert on these sort of things, like climate Do you think is this just a standout year for the Heat, or do you think this has to do with
You know, that interview I did with Ted on climate change was so heavy. And my only concern with that was I have such, right now I still have a very few viewers. Although that's about to change. I'm getting ready to, someone who works in the media business is going to help me to get
market it a little bit,
to do all the things that I need, because I don't know and you don't know, and we're just doing it.
Right.
But anyway, it was such an important program, and I was told by Ted that the climate change organization or whatever it is, they have their own website, and that interview that we did became the most watched video on their entire website.
Oh wow!
It was so important. But the thing is, I have so few viewers, and I wanted to do a 3-part section about that. But I told Ted, I said, I got to wait until I get more viewers, because these things are way too important to just have a few hundred people listening to it.
That's the truth.
But we're gonna, as soon as I get all of this stuff done, I'm gonna bring Ted back for the other 2. Plus, I'm gonna repost
the first one.
The first one, yes, because it's very, very important.
That's smart.
And as far as the climate change thing is, here's what I'm gonna say about that. Is he said the scientists are just upset and they're protesting all around the world, because they say we've been warning all the governments about this climate change thing for 50 years. We've been warning.
Yeah. And
no government has made any concentrated effort to do anything about it. And now it's falling right in our lap. And here's what I say about the human animal anyway. Why is it that we always, nothing's absolute, okay, so we don't always, but the overwhelming majority of the time as human beings, we wait until something gets to a crisis point before we move.
Well, it's something that's interesting is I was reading a book about that, and I think the reason why we do that is because we as humans, whether you want to talk about designed by God or evolutionarily, both, we have a tendency to not worry about things unless they're material and right in front of us. There was a book I read, I forget who it's by, I forget the title of it, but it was about climate change, and it was about why, unless we really change our whole nature, it's going to be difficult for us to come together and stop this thing. And it's because when in animals in nature, it's not until the lion jumps on the rabbit, or it's not until the something is at a crisis point that you react, right?
Yeah.
Whereas when something builds over time and it's coming, and it's like going to the doctor, right? A lot of us, unless we really, our arms hanging off and we got to get it sewed back on, we're not going to go and check it out.
Why I'm smiling.
Yeah. And so it's kind of a similar thing with climate change, right? Like, we see it's getting a couple tenths of a degree warmer, and the storms are getting a little bit bigger, but like until, New York is underwater, it's going to be really difficult to get everybody to stand up and move in the same direction. But I will say that doesn't mean we can't still try and raise awareness and, make small changes in our lives. Like, for example, I don't know if you remember back in the 80s, 90s, with the CFCs, the chlorofluorocarbons, or I'm pronouncing that wrong, but CFCs, right? This was something that was coming out of tailpipes that was really, really affecting the ozone layer. And this was something that was happening rapidly. Like, it wasn't climate change. This was the a part of the actual atmosphere that was disintegrating, that protects us a lot from the sun, right? Yeah. From whatever rays come. Ultraviolet rays, exactly. But so, like, I think 150 countries all came together, said there's going to be a limit on how much each car can emit in a minute or whatever, and that number took a nosedive, and it was along with aerosols and things like that. And now the ozone is remaining constant. It's not, the layers, that hole in the layer isn't growing anymore. So we can make changes, but it's just, it's got to be legislative. So you got to have a government that is at least open to hearing about ways that we can prevent future generations from not being able to live on our coastlines. And it really just comes down to people making a stink. You know, people making a stink. People going out to the polls to vote, and being aware that it's very possible that in another 2 generations, this Earth, it's still going to be habitable. The world's not going to end, but it's going to look a lot different than it did now, and it's going to be because of humans. Humans are the only species that really impacts its environment like that. Yeah, you could say beavers build dams, but it's not the same as a pile of concrete so big that it changes the Earth's rotation, which is there's like this dam in China that's so heavy that we spin slower now. How ridiculous is that? And it's no animal is releasing things that's making it hotter on the planet, greenhouse gases and all this kind of stuff. So we have to take responsibility for our impact on this planet, because it's not just us living here. And I don't know as much as Tom, of course, but I do know that the way we've been living for the past 120 years since like the Industrial Revolution is not sustainable. We've done more damage in that 120 years than we had in all of the previous history of humans being humans. But the end is not near. The sky is not falling. People are becoming more aware. We're not using coal to produce power as much. People are moving away from gasoline, and people are moving towards electric cars, which is really interesting right now, because right now we're going through one of the worst, if not the worst, in recorded history here in the Bay Area heat wave we've ever had. Right, we had like 107 degrees, which we're on the water here. That shouldn't be happening, right? We're not in Arizona, yes. Or even out in Stockton. We're here in the Bay Area, and so when the heat gets high like that, it puts a big strain on our electric grid.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of people are saying, we can't turn the AC on. How are we supposed to charge, a bunch of cars? And for a little context, California said that by 2030, 2035, it's been being pushed back a little bit, but that all new cars that are going to be sold need to be electric cars, right? And there's a certain amount of pushback from that. Our grid can't handle the AC. How are they going to handle electric cars? The grid's something that could be changed and upgraded, and more capacitors could be added and higher resistance, and you can make it available for fluctuations that include AC. But people aren't charging their cars at 6:30, which is peak time. People charge their cars overnight. Nobody uses electricity overnight. It's fine. And I think it's very interesting. There is a lot of pushback to electric cars, and I think it's because of so much of our economy is based on producing what?
That's the right on target, bullseye, right there.
Right. I mean,
it's all about the song that I sang.
Yes, Jerry Lewis, and
it's all about money.
Yeah, it's funny, man. Ain't it funny what money can do?
Unfortunately, I've said this since I can't believe I've been saying this probably since I was a young child, maybe 10. Like you said, the human being is just programmed not to react until a certain point.
Right.
The sacred hoop of life. I mean, I hate talking like this, but there's no other way to explain it. The sacred hoop of life. Every time there's a glitch, if we lose a certain animal or we lose a certain plant, there's a glitch in the system. But however, the human animal, God only knows why. Only God knows why He created us.
Right.
Because the human animal is the only thing that is on this earth that, if you completely remove the human animal from earth, completely remove all of us,
right,
the earth would not have a glitch, nor in fact the earth would prosper.
Oh, 100%.
By removing human beings from out of the circle of life.
Right.
Somehow we don't belong in there. We don't fit.
We're aliens.
Yeah.
Well, we'll be talking about more of that in the future episodes.
But that's another thing. And speaking about that, one of our shows, I want whoever's watching, you got to stick with us, because I'm telling you, one of our shows coming up, we're going to be doing. Some friends of mine in Sonoma County, very old friends of mine, have run across these gentlemen who real thick conspiracy theorists.
They have alternate views on the world we live in.
Alternate views. Right, that's about it. You know, the Earth is flat, and they believe in the birds. Some of the birds are not real; they are drones looking at us, and a bunch of other things. And you know what? We want to bring them on and let them express their views and why they feel that way, and try to explain it. And because I want people to feel, we want people to feel comfortable to come and sit with us, no matter what your views are.
100%.
We're not going to beat you up, but we're going to give you a platform to talk, and then at the end, we're going to give our opinion of what you said, and leave it at that. But it should be a very interesting
conversation.
Thing. Yeah, because naturally, I can't see how somebody could believe the Earth is flat. But
see, that's why we're bringing some experts on to let us know how that world works.
Exactly how it is.
But to go back, that'll be a very interesting episode, man. I'm excited to be a part of that. But to go back to climate change and why it's so difficult for us to wrap our heads around and to really make action to do something. There's a proverb. It's if you take a frog and you want to boil it, you can't just throw it into boiling water because the frog is going to jump out, right? What you do is you put it in a pot of warm water, and you slowly bring up the heat. And the frog will just stay a happy butt in there until it freaking boils to death, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And it's really similar to what we're doing here, you know? If, as soon as a big chunk of the ice sheet in the Antarctic, melts into the water and the water levels rise, they say in 50 years it can get up to the Statue of Liberty's elbow. I think Neil deGrasse Tyson said that. Not the one that's up here, but the one that's here holding the book.
Yeah.
That is a significant change in ocean level, you know? That's every major city, most of the important cities are on the water just because historically trade routes and, everyone likes to go to the beach. I'm kidding. But it's a lot easier to move around in the water. It's only been in the past, 70 years that air travel became popular. So most of the great cities of the world are on the water. So if the water levels rise, that's more than half of the population that's going to be displaced.
Oh yes.
And again, man, we can't be that frog in the hot tub, man, because that hot tub is going to start scalding eventually.
Because things happen slow like that's really the last climate change show that I did. I brought up this subject about Stinson Beach. Mm-hmm. Stinson Beach, right over across Mount Tamalpais. The city of Stinson Beach has already formatting plans right now, because they say they've got about 10 or 20 years to do it, to move the entire population of Stinson Beach from off that ocean line area, all of those people, and move them further back up toward Mount Tam, because in 20 years that whole area is going to be underwater.
Yeah, even if it just raises a foot, that's a lot of, that's it.
Now this is not projected. This is absolute certain,
right?
That this is going to happen. Now they found out that there's a big glacier that is melting way faster than anybody thought it would, and so this thing is sort of snowballing. I gotta say this just because I thought about it when you said something about the frog in
the pot of water.
I used to tell people, I said, if you have kids and you're worried about, fortunately I didn't do this with you, fortunately I said, and you're concerned about the cost of feeding your child, I said, here's what you do. You get a plate of beans. And what you do is the first plate of beans you give that child, you count every doggone bean on that plate. And you feed your child nothing but beans after that. But each time that you give him a plate, you extract one bean. And over a period of time, you get your kid down to eating just 3 beans, and he never saw it coming. But anyway, enough of that. Climate change is really at a crisis point now. The scientists are saying we've been warning you about this thing for over 50 years, and no government has made any significant movements toward it.
Well,
and now,
I think we have made some significant movements. I want to talk about electric cars a little bit.
now all of that is good.
Right.
I want to interject this.
Okay.
I've been saying this lately. Technology ruined the environment. You know, the industrial age, all of that stuff. You know, the pollution, the water is dirty, the air is dirty. Technology did this. And you know what? The only thing that can save us is technology.
It's true.
And I do believe that technology will do that.
Mm-hmm.
The electric cars, you know, we've got some very smart people working.
It's true. But there is a flip side to that. We live in the greatest country in the world, in my opinion. And we happen to be a capitalistic society. So technology alone, if nobody's participating, nobody's going to give a shit. Nobody's going to buy the stuff that's more expensive because they're so a big part of that balance is raising awareness, right? Make the choices that maybe aren't the best financially for now, for the short term, but in the long term they are. Like, for example, electric cars, right? Right now they're a little bit more expensive. The thing is with the combustion engine, we've sort of reached the limit, right? We get maybe 30 miles a gallon, maybe 50 if you got a hybrid, but already the other half of the hybrid is electric engine. And, you know, we've made it as least pollutive as possible, but it's still not good for the environment. We've kind of done all we can do with that.
Yeah,
right?
you can't get the gas mileage down much lower because you just can't. The combustion engine
has limitations.
Yeah, yes.
Now, a big argument against electric vehicles, is, it takes, you know, how do you think they produce their electricity? It's in the gas plants and the coal plants and blah, blah, blah. That's true, but you can change where the electricity is created, right? You can't change what fuel you're using for a gas car because you got to start from the ground up. What are you going to... Maybe you could put some peanut oil in there if you're driving like a diesel, you know, can convert it if you're driving like an RV around the country, and that's great, you know. But as far as like a national usage on a large scale, it's not practical. Yeah. So with an electric car, people are saying, oh, well, where is this electricity generated? It's not necessarily cleaner than a gas car. That may be true in a large sense, except for, you know, people who charge it at home. They have solar panels, that's great. But on a large scale, yeah, a lot of the electricity that's generated that powers these electric cars is still using, you know, fossil fuels, right? So gas or coal. But that's something that you can change. All you have to do is plug into the grid. So you could, whether you're plugging in from a coal plant to charge it, or you're plugging in from a solar field, or you're plugging in from a wind farm, or you're plugging in from, you know, a dam or whatnot, a hydroelectric dam. You can generate this electricity anywhere, as long as the infrastructure is invested in by people buying electric cars and choosing to go that way. The second drawback that a lot of people like to talk about with electric cars is the battery, right? The battery is expensive to produce. It has a lot of, you know, chemicals and rare earth metals that are, you know, limited, and when people dispose of it, it can cause like a hazard if it's not disposed of properly. This is all true, but these are things, again, that are worked on. Batteries are becoming smaller, lighter, more efficient. People are making more of an effort to make them recyclable, reusable in different ways.
True.
And so, whereas the combustion engine sort of has reached its full potential since its inception 100 or so years ago, the electric vehicle is just
coming in.
It's just coming
into its own. Yes. Oh, yes. And like I said, technology is going to save us.
Technology is going to save us.
Yes.
I'm telling you.
Let's do a song, Dhani.
That sounds good to me. Let's take a little break.
We're going to do something like this. Yes. Why not? You got to realize a lot of this stuff that I do or we do is improvisational, right off the top of the head sometimes.
Yes, I asked Dad what we were talking about today. He said, hey, what do you want to talk about? And we just sat down, hit record, and now we got something special here for you. Sing it to him, Dad. Play it for him. sunshine when she's gone. Yeah. Ain't no sunshine when she's gone. Ain't no sunshine when she's gone. And she's always gone too long. Anytime she goes away.
Wonder this time where she gone.
Tell him, Dad.
I wonder if she's gonna stay. Yeah. Ain't no sunshine when she's gone. And she's always gone too long when she goes away. I wonder this time where she's gone. Hey, wonder if she's gonna stay. Yeah, ain't no sunshine when she's gone. She's always gone too long when she goes away. I know. I said I know now. Take one.
Hey. I know. I said I know now. Hey.
I know. I said I know. Yeah. I gotta leave the young thing alone. Ain't no sunshine when she's gone. One more time.
They say ain't no sunshine when she's gone. Dark every day. Ain't no sunshine when she's gone. I said there ain't no sunshine when she's gone. She always gone too long. Every time she goes away. Said I wonder this time where she's gone.
Oh yeah, I know she's gone.
I wonder if she's gone to stay. Said there ain't no sunshine when she's gone. And she always gone too long. Every time she goes away.
I know.
I know.
Said I know now.
Yeah, man.
Ain't no sunshine when she's gone.
Good old Bill Withers there.
That guy was something. I mean, I really, what a songwriter.
Right.
You know, all of this stuff. Grandma's Hands, Ain't No Sunshine When She's Gone. That song I do, Take It All In, Check It All Out.
Just stuff that really transcends,
Just
eras.
the two of us.
Yes, exactly.
He wrote that. Just the two of us, like Grover Washington Jr. played the sax.
Mm.
Yeah, just incredible. One of the shows coming up. Let me say one of the shows coming up. I've been talking about Mario's brother Richie Valens. I've been going to do a show with Mario. Mario's so busy. I'm still trying to catch him. I'm going to be doing a special presentation in a few days on the birthday of a friend of mine, Barry Cowsill. I met Barry when I moved to Monterey. He's not one of my old friends. In fact, we were only friends for maybe 10 years, I think, 15 years before his passing. But I want to do a special show to commemorate his birthday. I think I may miss the birthday, but it'll be around the time. If I want anybody listening to me right now, if you want to hear something really unique, you are familiar with the Cowsills, the band. But go online and look up Barry Cowsill. Barry released his last album just before his tragic passing. Please go listen to it. What an incredible artist that man was. Also, we want to always say, vote, 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 and more vote.
Oh, and one more thing. Vote.
Yes.
Just in case you didn't hear the first 7 of them, I'm telling you.
Yes. It's just way too important. If you know people who don't vote, do like we are doing. Sit them down and talk to them. A lot of people just don't get how important it is to, and if you can convince them of how important it is, and tell them, if you need help registering, we'll help you. You know what I mean?
And yeah, you go online, register. You can go outside of a Safeway during the season, register. There's a bunch of ways to do it. It's very simple. And the number one pushback I get when I tell my friends to vote, they're like, "Oh, I don't know anything. I don't want to just." Learn something, man. Go out, listen to maybe smarter people than us. Go read about the issues, inform yourself, and go impact our society. So many people, they just think the things that happen in the polls, they don't affect you and I. But if you look back 50 years, you see all the good things that happened back then that affect us today. Now imagine looking forward in time 50 years. You'll be looking back to this moment in time saying, wow, all this shit was going on and it just swept me up with it. Or you can look back and say, hey, I was a part of all that, So vote. If you don't feel well informed enough, go inform yourself. Go look up things, search the issues. If you register, they give you an option to send you a ballot so that you can go through and decide which way you feel on all the things before it comes time to go and actually cast your vote. Take a little time, read on them, decide which way you lean. Don't just listen to old farts like us or old farts like him and young farts like me. Go and get a well-rounded view of all the issues out there, and then vote, man. Because at the end of the day, what makes this great country work so well is that we're a representative democracy, right? We hire folks to go make some decisions for us. We make the rest of the decisions by ourselves, and if they mess up too much, then we replace them with different folks, man. And that's what's great about it. But it doesn't work if we only have a certain percentage of folks going out to vote.
That's the thing.
Now, the folks that generally go out are older folks who have more time or folks that have a lot of money. But that shouldn't necessarily be the people that are running our country. It should be everybody. If you see something wrong, call your congressman or whatever, and go out and make a change. Be the change that you want to see in the world.
We have all got to become more involved, especially in these times because I try not to sound like an alarmist, but this thing that we call democracy is under attack, and it's been under attack for several years now. Well, always been under attack, but heavily. There are certain actors on the international scene, including here in this country that we have here. There's a concerted effort to dismantle this thing that we call democracy. And if you're going to dismantle democracy, if you are a authoritarian or Nazi-minded those type of people, you know that if you dismantle democracy here in America, the rest of the world falls. And our intelligence agency warned us about this several years back, and the exact same things that they said were going to happen. The division about the election, dividing us along racial lines, and misinformation. Before the conspiracy theories got really raging like it is, we were warned that this was a plan of our foreign enemies as well as our domestic enemies. And yes. This thing is working very, very well. We have to remember, just because some idiot gets it at a rally and says some crazy thing, that you don't have to just go out like a parrot and repeat it. Go think to yourself, is this a person who tells the truth in the first place? And if they aren't, why should I believe this? Let me see what the real thing is.
Right. Now, social media is something that a lot of us are used, right? It's very popular nowadays. Some of us use it more than others generationally. But think about it. If you want to influence a different country, what would be the easiest way to do it, right? You're going to send people in there to, or are you going to just make a bunch of fake accounts on a platform that say a bunch of crazy stuff that really propagates, less unity between, different demographics, whether it's right and left or, minority, majority, or whatever the case may be. Sow seeds of discontent on the internet would be the by far the easiest and probably the most effective way to destabilize the country the best you can. So be wary of the things you read. Don't just use one source. Like this guy said, one person saying a bunch of crazy stuff shouldn't have enough power to make these huge rippling changes through our country. But the thing is a lot of people won't take the time to sit down and Google something, look at a different source, find out what like scientists are saying the prevailing theory is, and of course there's always going to be naysayers, right? But look at all the information as a whole, then you will be able to make your own decision. If you just follow what any one person says, that's idolatry, and regardless of what your feelings about that are, go out and inform yourself the best you can. Do research, look at both sides of something, and then make your own decision based on that. Don't just listen to what any one person said. If I listen to everything that this guy said here growing up, maybe I'd have longer hair. I don't know what happened, but it'd be different, right? I take what he says with a grain of salt, and usually it's right, but maybe usually he's being generous. But you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Go inform yourselves the best you can,
and get out of the echo chamber.
Right.
Get out of the echo chamber. I am so. Several times I've had these conversations with close friends, and of course I never name anybody, but if you're listening, you know who the hell you are. Several times I've had people look at me and say, "Alligator, get your head out of CNN."
Or they'll say something like along these lines. They'll be like, "Oh, you didn't know that? Everybody knows that. Everybody knows it." But like, who's everybody?
Do you know
the 6 people you talk to? Like,
you know who laid on that thing? I'm not going to name the names. But there's a person in our government who used that to the max. Oh, I'm the smartest, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, everybody knows that, or everybody said this. And I was waiting for a reporter to jump up and say, wait a minute, who is this everybody? Who is this mysterious everybody?
Right.
In other words, get out of the echo chamber. Here's what we're going to do for you now. Remember, come down to Monterey on the second Saturday of every month. I'm going to be there tomorrow. At Elroy's Bonton Lighthouse Smokehouse. Sometimes I get the name a little different. On Lighthouse Smokehouse in Monterey. I'm there every second Saturday. Just drop in and say hello. Okay, if you're in the Monterey area and you're passing around, say, you know what?
What time are you better be there about?
7 to 10.
There you go.
7 to 10.
And it's PM, right? No AM Smokehouse playing? I'm just making sure here. So Saturday, second Saturday of the month, 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. Bonton Leroy's Lighthouse Smokehouse, or Elroy's Bonton Lighthouse Smokehouse. Something like that, man. But they got good food.
Second Saturday of the month. Now, listen, we're going to do one more song, and we're going to pull out of this one.
How about a good old friend, Ray Charles? How's that sound?
Hey, let's see. I think I got him here. Ray Charles.
Dad and I were actually in a tribute group just after Ray Charles passed back in the early 2000s. I was maybe like 5 or 6 at the time, but I sang a song, "Hit the Road Jack." It was the shortest song for the shortest guy because I was about 4 foot tall at the time. And Dad, you did is it Busted?
Busted, yeah.
Yeah, and it was a nice group put together by Gary Souza over in Monterey. A lot of local and California musicians, and a couple ringers. But it was a really good time. It was a really great way to celebrate the long life Ray had and all the great music that he put out and the effect that he had on the culture. For
and what was the CD called?
It's called "For the Love of Ray."
Yeah,
you can still find it online if you look, iTunes or whatnot. Go check it out.
If you want to hear Dhani when he was 5 or 6 years old or 7 or however old he was.
Mm.
Go look up that CD, For the Love of Ray. And you will hear me doing Busted, but also hear Dhani doing Hit the Road Jack.
And Dad does a great rendition of the song Busted, if you ask him. He changes the words around a little bit. If you ever see him in the wild, you see Gator in the wild, ask him about that song Busted. He might do it for you a little different. But for now, we're going to head on down to Atlanta, Georgia.
Here we go, y'all.
How's that sound to y'all?
I think so. I think so. All I say is, which way did he go? You got to be old to know what I'm talking about that. Georgia, the whole day through, just an old sweet song. Georgia, on my mind, on my mind.
I said, Georgia, Georgia, the whole day through, just an old sweet song leaves Georgia on my mind. Yes, Lord, on my mind.
Other arms.
Yep. Other arms reach out to me. Other eyes, yes, they smile tenderly. Take it, Dad.
Still and peaceful dreams I see. The road leads back to you. Lord, Lord, Lord. Georgia, 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 Georgia. No peace, no peace, no peace do I find. Or just an old sweet song. Hey! Keep Georgia on my mind.
This guy's always trying to
On my mind. Go on there. Hey!
Hey, talk to him, Gator.
One more time.
Georgia,
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 no peace.
no peace. Hey, do I find just an old sweet song leaves
Georgia,
Georgia on my mind,
on my mind,
on my mind,
on my mind.
on my mind. I said Georgia,
Georgia,
Georgia, all day long, yeah.
come on home, Georgia.
Come on, Georgia.
Come on home, baby. I miss my fried chicken.
I miss that okra.
I miss my. Just come on home, Georgia. I swear to God, dog, I'll do anything. I'll do anything. I'll mow the lawn.
I'll trim the hedges now.
I'll wash the dishes.
I'll let him wash the dishes.
I'll even break down and change the diapers. Georgia, please come on home. I'll do anything except stop drinking my tequila.
Oh man, we're having a good time here. Well, that's a podcast, I'll tell you. But just to go over things, make sure to go out and do what now? What are we doing?
Vote. That's the main thing. And listen, do not let our spirit waver in support for the Ukrainian people and the fight that they are fighting. Because they are not only fighting that fight for them, they're fighting that fight for us.
It's true.
If we don't stop that man there.
You know, a lot of folks feel a type of way how much money we're sending over there. A lot of folks feel like, you know, us Americans are hit hard here at home. You know, gas prices are high and groceries and things like that. But at the end of the day, we as Americans were founded on the idea of democracy and freedom, right? You come here, you can practice the religion you want, you can marry who you want, you can be who you want to be, right? But we don't just support that here at home. We support that, we always have overseas. Because if it wasn't for overseas support, we may have had the French really helped us win that war in a lot of ways. And we helped the French with their revolution as well. And democracy and dare I say justice and righteousness,
that's in our DNA.
It's in our DNA as Americans.
Even though we have fallen short in many areas with that, but we're working on it. That's the thing.
That's the most important thing. They say evil triumphs when good men do nothing.
Yeah. Oh yes.
And so, look, support for the Ukrainian folks. They're doing a great job over there. I understand it maybe has hit our wallets a little bit, but hey, you gotta nut up sometimes, man. I'm being honest. That nation deserves to be a nation. They don't deserve to get steamrolled by Ukraine and steamrolled by Russia, by Putin, I should say. And similar to what Pops was saying, if Ukraine were to fall, Finland's trying to join the EU, Sweden, right? These are countries that historically have been buffer states in between the European Union and the Warsaw Pact, or now Russia, what used to be the USSR. But these countries shouldn't be under threat of attack just because one leader says so, man. Yeah. And so, I like that we've come together as the Western world and in support of this country, and I hope we continue to, and I hope eventually, that war is won, whatever that looks like.
I hope we don't let that all-powerful piece of paper they call money dictate people's freedom and our commitment to freedom. We're not the only ones who's suffering. All of the NATO countries are suffering because of this.
Right.
And, so buck up, okay? But listen, enough of that. Thank you for spending a little time with us. This is Alligator in Alignment. We will see you soon. Happy trails.